to have children, and we planned to have children. We sat in the backseat of my car and discussed it. Children, yes, we want to have children. Bring them up. So, all we asked God when we found out that we were pregnant was that we would get a healthy child. That's all we asked. But you know, we soon realized that if you leave that much open for God, some good jokes are going to come about. Still being intellectuals, we decided to have our first child by way of natural childbirth. And we were intellectuals, mind you, so intellectuals go to study things that people do naturally. So, and childbirth is a natural thing. The pains come automatically, the muscles tighten, the mother's there. All you need, as they say in every movie, is hot water. Get the hot water. And there's some fool who goes around and goes, hot water, get the hot water, and he bothers everybody in the world for hot water. But even if you don't have hot water, the baby's going to come. Kaboom! There it is. Natural childbirth, right? So, really all you need, not even hot water, all you need is someone just to be there and, you know, kind of along the road, right? It's coming out, it'll be right here in a second, see? Natural childbirth, that's all you got. So, I mean, people do this all the time in the deprived, quote-unquote, deprived countries of the world, right? You have a woman out there, she's ready to pop. She's out there in the field picking the rice and the thing, and she goes, the muscles tighten, and boom, the baby comes out. They cut the cord, they tie it up, and the baby's there with the mother picking the rice, and, you know, natural childbirth. So, in being intellectuals, we went to class to study how to do this. And the first thing they tell you is that you need to breathe properly. And that's my wife's job. She's there and she's breathing. And my job, and the father has to be there at these classes because they give the father a diploma. And if you don't get a diploma, you cannot be at the natural childbirth, right? So I'm there with my wife, and my job is to bend my wife in half and say, push. Now, if I don't go to class, I am not going to get a diploma for this. So I have to be at class to tell my wife to push so that I can go to the birth, right? So my wife is there, and she's breathing, and she's good. And I'm there, and I say, push, push, and I'm the cheerleader, right? So I'm push them out, shove them out, way out. Push them out, shove them out, way out. And my wife is a wonderful breather. And we were the best in our class. And soon I started to breathe macho style with my wife. Push, 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 push. My wife. We would go to parties and people would ask us to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, the breathing Roberts. Push, push. Right? Natural childbirth. Natural childbirth means that during the delivery, no drugs will be administered into the female's body. The father can have all he wants. So we're there, and during the 9th month, my wife yells to me from the second balcony of our home. She says, Jordan! I became excited. I said, push! And I remembered, oh no, we have to go to the hospital for the childbirth, right? For the natural childbirth. So I run into the garage. We have a minivan. I do 104 from the garage to the front door. My wife comes downstairs, jumps in the car. We're doing 180 to the hospital. And then my wife says, and I say, oh, no. So I pull over and I say, oh, dear, no, please, it's $10,000. Baby, go if you need to go in the bushes. We're going to bushes, but please go in the car, dear. She says, Jordan, please. I said, okay, hold everything. I'll get you there. And we're off. And we get to the hospital, and the Marx Brothers jump out. And they put her in the wheelchair, and they save her off in the delivery room. And I started reading, and they put the thing on me, the thing on backwards, the booties on the shoes, and we go to the living room, and they got my wife all prepped with her legs way up in the stirrups, and she's going, and the doctor's sitting there like Johnny Bench. Now, the first real pain hit my wife. And she goes, and I said, push. Carol Barnett once described what labor pains feel like. She said, take your bottom lip and pull it up over your head like this. So, the second contraction hit. Pow! And my wife says, whoa! And she stood up in the stirrups, grabbed my bottom lip, and said, I want morphine! And I said, but dear, you shut up! You did this to me! And on her next contraction, she told everybody in the delivery room that my parents were never married. So we're back to breathing. And I said, push, push. And my wife is getting tired. She said, oh, darling, I don't want to push anymore. Tell them to give me some. I said, no, dear, you can do it. We're almost there. No. I don't want to do it anymore. No, you can do it. You can do it. No. I don't want to graduate from the class anymore. I said, no, we're almost there, dear. And I look in the rearview mirror, and I see the head. And Johnny Bench is still sitting there. And I say, isn't that the head? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, go get it. And he says, it's stuck. So I say, get the salad spoons, man. So he gets the salad spoons. Baby comes out. Now this is the greatest moment in my life. This is what I had asked God for. This is what we wanted to see if we could make. And I looked at it. And they started to clean it off. It wasn't getting any better. So I went to my wife and I kissed her ever so gently on the lips. And I said, darling, I love you very, very much. You just had a lizard. Because the thing changed colors 3 times. And the neck and head wouldn't work. They just kept going. I asked the doctor, I said, can you put this back? It's not finished yet. It still needs to cook. Another 2-3 months maybe. The hospital made us take it home. My mother came and she saw it. She said, oh, how precious. I don't know why she said that. I didn't know then, I know now. See, when I was a child, my mother put a curse on me. And I come to find out that all mothers put curses on their children. She said to me, I hope that when you grow up and you get married, that you have a child who acts exactly the way that you act. And this curse works. It started with that child. And my wife and I have not been intellectual since. No, my wife was pretty good for a while, but it didn't last. It didn't last 2 years. My father was so happy. We just had a little girl, our second. And I had wanted another boy. I had bragged that I was going to have 3 boys, like my father, who had 3 boys. Why not? Son. So we brought the baby home. You know, it does something to you when you have a baby at home. You're home, really home. And the baby made a little poo-poo. I was so happy she made the poo-poo. I said, did you make the poo-poo? She said, that's right, when you want to poo-poo, you can poo-poo. You know how to poo-pee, don't you, you little poo-pee? And she said, and we were so happy, we showed it to each other. I said, look at the little poo-poo. And my wife said, oh, it's a beautiful poo-poo. And we even called our parents. We said, hey, come look at the poo-poo. And they came up and they said, oh my gosh, look at the beautiful poo-poo. But after about 3 months, God put odor in the poo-poo. And then it became a mess. And we didn't want to see that anymore. We didn't want to change her. She'd make a mess, and we'd say, "Did you make this mess?" And she'd say, we'd say, "No, I don't want to see that. That's icky, yucky, messy." So there I was, changing my daughter. Here I'd brag that I'd have a son, but of course God has a sense of humor. So he said, "Let him have a girl." She came out. So my father was there, behind my shoulder as I was changing my daughter. He said, "What you got there, son?" I said, "It's a baby." I said, "Oh, looks like you forgot to put the stem on the apple." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Shame." Yeah. "Well, you still have another chance." I said, "I have lots of chances. Johnny and I are young. We're not stopping here. Lots of kids." She said, "Oh, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, with this child right here." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, all you got to do is put your mouth over her nose and breathe real hard." Now, as ridiculous as some things may sound, there comes a time of desperation when no one is looking, when you will give the ridiculous a try. I had trouble putting her eyes back in. Before my wife came back into the room, she said, "How did her eyes get out?" I said, "It just... Well, so much for being intellectuals. All right, thank you very much.
Now, Jordan took genetics with me over the summer. And I'm trying to remember the days that he missed for various reasons. Like, he was also simultaneously taking physics and physics lab and genetics lab as well. Don't try this at home, kids. Now, I'm trying to remember, because if he actually took his father's advice, then he must have missed the day in genetics when we talked about the X and Y chromosomes. So we're going to have to count him off for not knowing his genetics.
Sorry, Dr. Marshall.
What did you think? No?
Well, Jordan, you clean up really nice. You look really good in the tie and the suit and everything. And the performance was really a lot of fun. I love the animation, and you really got into it and really kind of put your heart in it, and it was just a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Well, there was a lot of continuity in your subject matter. I don't know that that's the end. Excellent delivery.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody.